Before we start, I just want to let you guys know that I picked Carolina to win. And I know that, Carolina already beat Houston, but I thought Carolina was going to win no matter what. So let's just get into the real matches of the day. All right, so for Sunday's matches, here we go. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. I'm going to have the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this game. Chicago, Cleveland. I have the Cleveland Browns winning. Titans, Colts. Ooh, I'm gonna say Titans win. And that's mainly because of the fact that Carson Wentz is out. And I think that due to the fact that the Colts don't have a true backup, I think that the Titans are gonna win despite their bad defense. New Orleans at New England. Now this one's a very interesting match because week 1 for Jameis, he looked like an elite level quarterback, while week 2 he looked like he was about to lose his starting job. While at New England, Mac Jones looks, he looks alright, but Jones is, no offense to him at this moment, he might change later on, but Jones is fucking boring to watch. Now that might change later on in the season or later on in his career, but at this moment, Jones is fucking boring to watch. That's just my hot take. But I feel like consistency is better than taking a risk. And due to the fact that the Patriots defense is, one of the greatest in the league, and, the weapons Jones has, especially at the running back position, because we know Jones loves to hand it to his running backs, I think the Patriots are going to take the win over New Orleans. Buffalo at Washington, or Washington at Buffalo. This one is just like the previous matchup. Very interesting. Josh Allen, he hasn't really played up to his contract, really. While Washington, their defense isn't as good as people thought it was going to be. And Tyler Heineke, he played pretty good. But I feel like this game is going to decide if he's truly a starter or truly one of the best backups in the league. Heineke has to go up against, Tre'Davious White has to go up against the Buffalo pass rush. It's going to be very interesting. Josh Allen might actually do really well against Washington's defense. Stephon Diggs, they have the running backs and Zach Moss and Devin Singletary. But I'm going to state, and I'm going to say that Washington is going to beat Buffalo. Not because, they're a rival team, but I genuinely think that Washington is going to beat Buffalo. I'm going to say by 3 points, by a field goal. Washington's going to win by a field goal. That's my prediction. Baltimore at Detroit. Baltimore is going to win. LA Chargers at Kansas City. I'm going to say that the Kansas City Chiefs, after losing to Baltimore, come back and beat the Chargers. Atlanta at New York Giants. I think the Giants are going to destroy Atlanta. The Giants have a very underrated defense, and if Daniel Jones plays like he did against the Washington football team last week, then yeah, the Giants are going to destroy Atlanta. Speaking about destroying, I would be more surprised if Arizona does not obliterate the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I have Arizona winning. Jets at Denver. I have the Denver Broncos beating the Jets. Miami at Las Vegas. Now, this one's really interesting because, Derek Carr is playing as an MVP candidate, when you think of MVP candidates right now, it's Kyler Murray and Derek Carr at the top spot. They're both on the same pedestal for MVP candidates. And due to the fact that Miami has, one of the best corners in the game, and Howard, have a very solid corner too, and Byron Jones, their defense is really good. But again, Tua is out. Brissett is going to play. Plus the fact that Derek Carr has, Waller, Henry Ruggs, Bryan Edwards, Hunter Renfrow. If Josh Jacobs comes back, then he also has him, right beside Kenyon Drake. Their O-line, hopefully gets back. But I think that the Las Vegas Raiders will go 3-0, and I think this week Derek Carr is really going to prove that he is truly an MVP candidate. Many people just state, it's the other team's fault, The Raiders were just clutch, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they just made one bad play. No, this week, Derek Carr and the Raiders are going to show that this team is legit, and they're going to beat the Miami Dolphins. Seattle at Minnesota. Ooh, this is going to be a very interesting matchup, but I'm going to say that the Seattle Seahawks will beat Minnesota at Minnesota. It's going to be very close, like it was last year. And I think that once Seattle beats Minnesota, there are going to be real concerns about if Mike Zimmer or Kirk Cousins is going to be out for the next season. Tampa Bay at LA. Now, this is also very interesting because part of me wants the Buccaneers are going to win because this is Stafford's first year with the LA Rams. But another part of me wants to say that Tampa Bay is going to lose because this is in LA. LA won last year against the Buccaneers with Jared Goff. And the Buccaneers corners have been a little sus, a little concerning. But I'm going to do something vastly interesting. I'm going to say that the Rams are going to beat the Buccaneers. Just like my prediction with Washington and Buffalo, I think it's going to be very close. I think Washington is going to beat Buffalo by 3 points. And I think the Rams are going to beat the Buccaneers around the same amount as I do with Washington beating Buffalo. Green Bay at San Francisco. Now this is where San Fran has to show if they were just, beating up bad teams or if they really are a legit contender for the NFC West. The Rams, Seattle, and Cardinals. And I'm going to say that San Francisco beats the Green Bay Packers. Because, one, the Packers have a new defensive coordinator who, in the past, has not been good. Let 5 touchdowns happen with Jameis Winston throwing 5 touchdowns on their defense. And last match against the Detroit Lions on week 2, the Green Bay Packers at one point were losing the game. But that was on a really bad Lions team. I think San Francisco is way better than the Detroit Lions. I think that the San Francisco 49ers are going to beat the Green Bay Packers. However, I do think it's going to be a shootout between the Green Bay Packers and 49ers. I don't think that's going to be a one-sided match. I think that both offenses are going to try their best to defeat the other's defense. But at the end, I do feel like the 49ers will beat the Green Bay Packers. And Monday night, week 3, Philadelphia at Dallas. Dallas should have this in the bag. They were very close to beating the Buccaneers. It wasn't for a missed offensive pass interference on Chris Godwin, and they defeated the Chargers 20-16. And I mean, the Dallas defense has really shown up. They played really well against Tom Brady, even though they lost, and they played really well against Justin Herbert, only allowing 16 points. That in itself is impressive. So, if Dallas does not have this in the bag, I'm going to be very disappointed in that Dallas team. Philly, you're gonna be a little pissed off that Dallas is gonna win, but I think Dallas is going to win. So let me just do a little. Let me go back and let me tell you who I have winning each match. Dallas is gonna win. San Fran, LA, Seattle, Vegas, Denver, Arizona, Giants, Kansas City, Baltimore, Washington, New England, Tennessee, Cleveland, Pittsburgh Steelers, and of course Carolina. They are all going to win in week 3 against their opponents. And let's see how I do. Make a video when everything in week 3 is settled, and we'll see how I do.